Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. We're here today to talk about the 2018 Volkl 100Eight. If you're unfamiliar with it, the 100Eight has been out for a few years. This pink and black graphic over here, that's the women's graphic from a couple years ago. This is the graphic from this season, and this is the 2018 graphic moving forward. Pretty cool, kind of military inspired. I don't know if you can see the camo underfoot, but there is kind of some digital pixelated camo in there that I think looks really cool. Before we dive into performance, let's talk a little bit about construction. This uses Volkl's 3D ridge technology. Basically, I don't know if you can see it from the video, but it's got this raised portion through the center of the ski, which is really where the power and torsional stiffness comes from for the most part. We see Volkl using this construction on a lot of their skis now. A few years ago, everything from Volkl was, 2 sheets of metal, vertical sidewalls, very traditional construction. And now we're starting to see it. We see it in their RTM collection, that same 3D ridge technology. We see it in a lot of their really fancy V-work skis with carbon applications. And we see it in the 100Eight and the 90Eight as well. The changes to this ski are what they now call 3D glass, which I don't know if you can see, but they do display right there on the tail. The easiest way for me to describe 3D glass, let's see, so on these two skis there was a portion of fiberglass basically right inside the base, and that fiberglass was flat and it stopped just before the edges. Now, the 3D glass, that fiberglass extends further to the edge, it then goes up along the sidewall, and then it actually goes out to the edge of the ski. So, there's more fiberglass in it, and what they've essentially done is made it just a little bit stronger. I use that word loosely, but that's the easiest and simplest way to describe it. A little bit more torsionally stiff, a little bit more longitudinal stiffness. Definitely is a stiffer flexing ski than the old one, but barely. All these things are pretty minor, but they are noticeable when you ski it. This was a really fun review for me. I don't get to say this too often in our ski reviews, but I actually think I'm going to add a pair of these to my quiver. Right now I've got a carving ski, kind of a twin tip park ski, and a full-on Volkl 2 powder ski. And I do want something a little bit in between that I can ski woods on, that I can ski chopped up powder on. Today we were skiing in wind buff snow and it was awesome. I like this ski a lot because it's super predictable. Whether I was carving a turn on a groomer, which does require a little bit more speed than a traditional carving ski, because it is a reverse camber shape and it does have a 22 meter radius, so you can't just tip it over on edge and expect to be in a carving turn. But if you give it some power, it'll lay down some impressively powerful carving turns. It has that energetic pop as long as you're giving it enough power into that turn and getting the ski to flex more than it already is. You can just tip it and ride it on edge, but you don't get that same snappy feeling. And then in soft snow or variable snow, I think that's where the ski really starts to shine. Like I was saying, we skied some wind buff terrain today, and some choppy snow in there as well. We went in the trees and the snow was very variable, and I had a blast on these. They're light enough that you can make really quick adjustments. They don't smear a turn like, say, the Volkl 1 would be a perfect example of a ski that smears a turn very well. It's got more tail rocker, it's a softer flex. This thing's definitely stiffer than a Volkl 1. It's got more of a squared off tail. It's not a twin tip by any means. So it doesn't smear a turn quite as well as those skis, but it does. And then kind of on the other end of the spectrum, it's easier to throw around and make quick movements on than, say, a Volkl Mantra. So it kind of draws from both say a Volkl 1 and a Mantra. If you can kind of combine the performance characteristics of those skis and then add in some carving from, it is similar construction to their RTM series, so similar feel there. I was originally planning on mounting a touring binding on this, which I still think is a great setup. I had so much fun skiing in the resort that now I think probably I'll compromise and put a frame touring binding on it rather than a full-on tech fit touring binding. Just because I prefer skiing in alpine boots when I'm skiing in the resort, and I found that I could ski pretty aggressively on this thing and was having a blast on it. So yeah, a lot of us really liked the old 100Eight. So if you skied it and you liked it, this is stiffer, it is more powerful, it is a little burlier, but barely. So I think there will be some people out there that prefer the old version, but I do think most people are going to really, really like the changes to the new one. It's still impressively lightweight, way, way lighter than, say, a Mantra, but it does have a little bit more power than it used to. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to ski it more often. I'm hoping to get a pair of my own. We skied the 181, which sometimes I personally like to size up like crazy, and when I was first looking at this ski for myself, I was kind of thinking 189, but after skiing it for a few days, I do think 181 is going to be the way to go for myself. So yeah, great ski. Definitely read the review, get our full thoughts on it. I think you'll probably start seeing them more and more. Sometimes these new construction skis take a few years to catch on. I'll admit that they have for me personally. It's taken me a while to come around and say that's pretty darn cool and ski it and really, really like it. But yeah, check them out. Really cool military green Volkl 100Eight. It's the 2018 ski, and we'll see you guys on the slopes, and you might see me on the slopes on a pair of these.